Monday the Dietitian, and welcome to Healthy Made Simple, where I show you how to make healthy eating simple. In this video, I'm going to be showing you bento box lunch ideas. And these are lunch ideas that are cold lunches and don't need to be microwaved. So if you don't have access to a microwave, or if you don't want to go through the hassle of microwaving, hopefully this gives you some good ideas and inspiration for lunches for you. Now, I'll be honest, I am not great at packing lunch. If we have leftovers from the night before, that's easy. I can throw that in a container, put it in our lunch boxes, and have it ready for the next day. But if we don't have something left over, honestly, I don't have the energy at night to go through packing a whole meal for lunch. So what ends up happening most of the time for us is that we'll just grab snacks that we have at home around the house, or if we do have access to a microwave, we might grab something frozen from our freezer just to get by through lunch. And I know that's not what's the best thing for us, because lunch is a very important meal of the day. It's right in the middle of the day when we need the most amount of fuel. So I want to do a better job of providing more balanced meals for my family, for myself and my husband. My son's lunches always get taken care of. But for us, when we're working, to have some balanced, healthy options. Now, I got this inspiration from my son's Bentgo lunchbox. If you've ever seen one of these, we use this for my son anytime we're going out, and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. If you have little ones, you may have seen these before, whether it's this brand or a different brand, but they look like this on the inside. It's just a bento box where you have different compartments and you can put in different items, which really fits how my son currently eats anyways. We like to provide a lot of variety on his plate. So I was thinking, if I can already do this for my son, and if we're already packing different snacks for lunch anyways, then why don't I take this and find maybe an adult version that's going to fit us so that we can fill those different compartments with the different snacks that we're already bringing, but make sure it's balanced when it all comes together. And now when I say balanced, what I mean is I'm aiming for half of my plate to be fruits and vegetables, a quarter of my plate to be protein, and a quarter of my plate to be carbs to create that balanced plate. Now, I looked online and there are lots of options on there, but I wanted to find something that was going to be a little bit more inexpensive because I wasn't sure if we were going to like doing this, if we were going to enjoy doing this on a regular basis. So I found this option, and I'll provide a link down below for both this one and my son's lunchbox as well, in case you are interested. But it came in a box like this. This is the adult version that I was able to find online, and this one was very inexpensive. And it's the same idea where you have different compartments that you can fill, and this is what the back looks like, where overall it's 5 cups between all the different compartments. And I'll show you what it looks like. This is the one that I got. This is the color that I went for. In the front here, there is a little container for utensils. It comes with a fork and a spoon, which is helpful as well for lunchtime. And then if I open it up on the inside, I'll show you what it looks like. Now, it did come with these little silicone cups that you can use, and this will probably make cleaning up easier too if you wanted to use this, especially if you're going to use something messy. And then it came with a little sauce cup as well. And then this is the whole thing right here. Now, what I'm planning to do with this is to make it easier so that either whether I'm packing lunch or my husband is packing lunch, we both have an idea of what goes in here, so either one of us could do it. Now, in order to create that balance, I'm going to aim for this big, large container to be vegetables as much as I can. Now, if my vegetables already have some sort of a protein incorporated already, even better. But I'm going to make this big container my vegetables. And since I'm going for a cold lunch here, this will most likely be maybe some raw veggies that I can use to dip using this little container. It could be a salad, or it could be cooked vegetables that you wouldn't mind eating cold. No, that's what I'm going to go for this big container. And since I want to make sure I get enough protein in there, I'm going to use the second biggest container right here in the middle for my protein. So I'm going to make sure this container gets, this section right here gets filled up with protein. And then now I have the 2 sides left. One side I'm going to use for my carbs, my grains, whatever I want to do. And of course, I always try to aim for whole grains if I can so that I get that extra fiber. But if I can't, that's okay too. Lunchtime is when we need the most amount of energy, so I'm okay with a little bit of simple carbs in here on one of the containers. And then on the other side right here is where I'm going to put some fruit. Now, I don't eat enough fruit, even though I love it. Our house is filled with fruit that I buy for my toddler, but somehow I never get around to eating it myself unless I put it on my plate. So I want to make an effort for both me and my husband to eat more fruit. So I'm going to dedicate this container right here for fruit. Now, I have to be realistic about lunchtime, right? If I put a whole apple in there, chances are I'm not going to bite through a whole apple during lunch. So this needs to be easy to eat fruit. It could be things like grapes, strawberries, blueberries, anything that's cut up and ready to go already can also go in here if you were doing like melons. But chances are big, full pieces of fruit, if I put it in here, it's going to come right back. And it's not really big enough to fit a whole apple anyways. So it kind of encourages you to make sure that it's going to be easy to eat bite sizes, or things that can be easily peeled, like a tangerine, that are going to go in here. So that is going to be my goal, and that will create an overall balanced plate. And if I know that I've dedicated these sections into different items, then it makes it easier for me. Then it's a matter of plug and chug, right? I just got to make sure whatever vegetable I have goes in here, whatever protein I have goes in here, whatever carbs I have go in there, and whatever fruit I have goes in here. And this will create different variety of options for us throughout the week. Now, I'm going to spend the rest of this video showing you a couple examples about how I did this with things that I had around the house already. And I try to keep this in mind when I'm doing my shopping as well, knowing, okay, I'm going to need some cold protein options. I'm going to need some cold vegetable options and that are going to go into my lunch so that I have things ready to go at home that I can pack for lunch for the both of us. So if this is interesting to you, if you're interested to see how you could maybe apply this at home, if you decide to get one of these lunch boxes for yourself, please stay tuned for a couple examples about how to do a bento box lunch that is going to be a cold lunch that you can easily bring with you and provide you some healthy options. Alrighty, let's go. Alrighty, let's get started. The first bento box idea I have, again, this is all with things that I have around the house. So let's get started with the carbs. For my carbs, I'm going to be using these white flatbreads from Costco. And typically I do like to go for whole wheat or whole grain for extra fiber, but these actually have 7 grams of protein and 3 grams of fiber per serving, which I think is a great option considering it's a white flatbread. And these are very inexpensive as well. If you stop by Costco on a regular basis and you're looking for easy carb options to keep at home, I do suggest these even though they're not whole wheat, especially if you're not a big fan of whole wheat, but you want to try to get in more protein and more fiber into your diet. These can be an absolutely great option. Now I'm going to use half of one of these for lunch, and I'm going to cut it into little triangles. This is how I typically cut them when we eat them at home. Of course, if you want to take the time to cut these into little squares that fit perfectly into that compartment, go for it. I just didn't have the time for that, so I just went ahead and cut it the way I typically would and just kind of smushed them down in there a little bit, and they turned out fine. They still tasted great when I pulled them out at lunchtime. But the flatbread is going to be my carb for the meal. Now for my protein, I'm going to be using deli meat. I'm going to use this turkey breast. I do understand that deli meat is processed meat, but it does make an easy cold protein option for lunchtime. Now when I'm buying deli meat, a couple things I'm looking for. First and foremost, I want to try to go for something that doesn't have nitrites or nitrates, just to help cut back on that processing, because we do know it's going to be processed. And then this was actually left over from a recent camping trip, so I'm just using what I have at home. But if I was buying deli meat specifically to incorporate into my lunches, I would also go for a reduced sodium option as well to help cut back on that salt. We do know that since it's a processed meat, it's going to be higher in salt typically. So I do try to go for options that already say reduced sodium, but Costco did not have reduced sodium, and this is what I was shopping for at the time. So I just ended up picking these up. And I'm just being mindful of it and helping with cutting back on sodium in other parts of my meal to help balance out the extra salt that comes from the deli meat. And I'm going to go for 2 slices just to make sure I have enough protein to keep me full for lunchtime. Protein is very important to make sure that your meal is satiating. If you've ever had just a plate of pasta that was all carbs, you'll realize that while you feel really full right afterwards, you get hungry very quickly because carbs are not as satiating. So we do need the protein in there to make this a filling meal. Now for fruit, I'm keeping it simple. I'm just going for that tangerine that I already had at home, and that'll be easy for me to peel at work, so nice low effort fruit. Now for one of my vegetables, I'm going to do these cocktail cucumbers, and I get these from Costco as well. If you are trying to incorporate more vegetables and you don't buy cocktail cucumbers, I highly suggest buying them. I do love this pack from Costco. They last a long time. It's an affordable option too. And cucumbers are an easy way of incorporating more vegetables. I feel like they're very refreshing. They have a mild taste, so it's easy to incorporate. And I'm also going to do a piece of 1 tomato on the side that I'm going to be slicing up. And as you can see, this is almost becoming like a Lunchable, build your own sandwich kind of a thing with everything coming together. If you do a sandwich for lunch, you have 2 big slices of bread that you're eating along with it and not as many veggies. Whereas when we kind of break it down like this to make sure there's enough veggies in there, while also making sure there's carbs and protein to round it out, it becomes a much more balanced meal. So I'm going to slice up that tomato and put that on the side. And I'm thinking I'll build little bite-sized sandwiches almost with the slice of pita, with the tomato and the turkey, and then munch on the cucumbers on the side and probably finish off my meal with the tangerine for some sweetness at the end. And there we go, I have sliced up my tomatoes and everything is coming together. Now the last item I'm going to add on to this is going to be these chunky guacamole packets from Costco once again. I love buying these. These are a great way of being able to incorporate more avocado into your diet without the effort of having to make guacamole yourself. I like that they come in individual containers like this, and they last a long time in the fridge too, so it's a great option to tack on to any lunch. And there we go, there's my lunch all together, my carbs, my protein, my fruits, and my veggies. And then I'm going to have that guacamole on the side as my spread to go into those bite-sized sandwiches that I'm going to be making for lunchtime. And this is going to be a nice filling meal that's going to be not only balanced but also keep me full for the next few hours. And here it is at lunchtime. That's my lunch bag that I've had for years and years. And for lunch, anytime I'm packing lunch, I always like to pack a beverage, and my beverage of choice is always sparkling water to make sure I get some extra hydration in there without adding in extra sugar sweetened beverages or extra caffeine as well, which is what I typically tend to go for. And I like that this container has these utensils. It's actually made it really easy for lunchtime so that I don't have to remember to pack utensils on the side. And that spoon can real easily be used as a spoon and a knife at the same time too. So I like that it's a little bit multi-purpose. And there's my lunch as I packed it in nice cold lunch. So as long as you got some ice packs in your lunch packet, in your lunch bag, it'll stay nice and fresh for the day until lunchtime. And what I'm going to do is I'm opening up that guac, and I'm going to use that guac to spread onto my pita and top that off with a tomato and a piece of turkey. Now, if you don't have the time to do this at work, if you maybe don't work a desk job, you're having your lunch kind of on the go, where you don't have the time to make these nice little bite-sized open-faced sandwiches, you can easily just take the pita, dip it into the guac, throw a piece of turkey into your mouth, throw some tomato in there, and just create that bite in your mouth versus having to build this all together if you don't have the time to do this. But if you do, this was a really nice, delicious bite. And then I ended up having that cucumber on the side. I munched on that on the side, and it was a really refreshing meal that kept me full, but not overly full as well. So I felt like I had good energy. All right, here's my idea number 2, again with things that I have around the house. And the first item that I'm going to use for my carbs is going to be these almond flour crackers. I get these from Costco. I like that these are a healthier option to a lot of crackers out there. Of course, I do have different types of crackers at home because we use them pretty frequently. I have the big multi-grain circle ones too, but those did not fit in that container, so I wanted to go for something small like this. I will give you a warning though, these taste like almonds. So if you don't like the taste of almonds, almond flour, almond butter, these may not be for you. But if you do enjoy that, I highly suggest checking them out. Maybe get a smaller pack from the grocery store first before you invest in a big packet. And then on the side, I'm going to also add in some of this Laughing Cow, the light Laughing Cow, and I got this from Costco too. And I love that this adds a little bit of extra protein that's going to go along with those crackers to put as a spread on top. Now for the protein for this meal, I'm going to go for these organic basil and cracked black pepper smoked chicken sausage. And this is from Costco as well. Again, of course, since it's sausage, I know it's a processed protein, but it's an easy cold option that you can warm up beforehand, and then it can stay cold in your lunchbox for the day and it would still taste delicious cold. What I'm going to do, even though these are fully cooked, I do like to warm them through before I pack them in my lunch. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to take one and I'm going to microwave it to make this nice and easy for me. Of course, if you want to take the time to fry it up, go for it, but I think microwave works just as well and it's nice and easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paper towel, I'm going to get that wet, so I run it under water, take out all the water from it, spring it out so that you just have a damp paper towel. I'm going to wrap my sausage in there and I'm going to put that into the microwave for 45 seconds. And that cooks it through, it kind of warms it up through enough that I think it just tastes better versus just taking it straight out of the package. I've never done that before. I always end up just warming it through before I pack it for lunch. So into the microwave it goes for 45 seconds while I work on other things. All right, let's do the fruit. I'm going to be using this golden kiwi that I have. Kiwi is a great source of vitamin C. We have the cold season coming up, so make sure that you're loading up on your vitamin C. I know citrus fruits get a lot of recognition for their vitamin C content, but kiwis are actually higher in vitamin C. So I highly suggest incorporating it if it's a fruit that you enjoy. And an easy way of cutting up kiwi is you just take your spoon in there, you dig it out all along the edge and then pop it right out down the bottom like that. And this was a really ripe kiwi, so this was very easy to pop out and then you can slice it up from there. But whether you do golden kiwis or just a regular green kiwi, either option is a great option to incorporate some extra vitamin C for your day. And I have kiwis like this at home all the time, but I never take the effort to do this. And you can see it's really not taking me a whole lot of time, 1 to 2 minutes max to cut up a kiwi. But I am so busy with home life that I just don't get around to doing this. So lunchtime is a great way for me to be able to incorporate these fruits so that I'm still eating them because I have them at home. I want to eat them. But this gives me the opportunity to pack it for lunchtime when I know that I will eat it. And honestly, it wasn't a lot of effort to take an extra 1 to 2 minutes just to cut up a kiwi. All right, in the meantime, my sausage is ready from the microwave, so I will slice that up and put that as my protein for the day. And again, this is a cold lunch, so if you wanted to warm up the sausage and have it warm for lunch, you could do that. You wouldn't. This whole container is microwavable, but I would suggest, of course, taking the sausage out and just microwaving that separately. But it still tastes good cold, so I don't mind it. I thought it was delicious to go along with everything else. And I do understand that this is a processed piece of meat, so I do try to cut back on the processing as much as I can, but I also recognize the convenience of it too. So if that means I'm going to get more protein, then that's what I'm going to go for. A little bit of processing does not hurt, considering how much processed food we already eat to begin with. And for my vegetables, I'm going to be doing a salad kit. This is a leftover salad from the night before, and if you've seen my videos before, you'll know that I love the Mediterranean crunch salad kits. Whether it's from Costco, Trader Joe's, or any grocery store, most of them will have it. And I think I just love the taste of the balsamic vinegar in there, the mix of veggies that typically come with it. So we buy that regularly. Anytime we go to Costco, we like buying the big bags because it lasts us at least a couple meals. Now, of course, you could take this and just have the salad be your lunch, and maybe with the sausage, and that might be filling on its own, but I do like this variety that I'm able to put together with this bento box that really makes this a way more balanced plate altogether. And there it is. On my balanced plate, I got my carbs with a little extra protein from the cheese. I got my sausage for protein, I got fruit, and I've got my vegetables all together. And this overall will be a really filling meal with all the different options that I have on there. And of course, my goal is for it to be filling, but not make you overly full and sluggish after the meal. All right, again, it's lunchtime, so let me open up my lunch bag, and there's my sparkling water once again that I like to drink on the side. And I do love this lunchbox. This is something that I will continue to use regularly just because of the variety that I can get, and I can kind of tailor it based on what our days are going to be like as well. My husband works out in the field, so I do try to be mindful of whether he's eating his lunch in the car or somewhere else to make it an easy meal. And something like this would be easy to eat even if you were having to eat your lunch in the car. And that's what I ended up doing. I had the sausage with the salad, and then once I was full with that, I also had the crackers with the cheese. And I do love that the spoon that comes with the kit is a very flat spoon, so you can use it just like a knife if you use the back of it to spread it. You saw me do that with the guacamole as well. So I like that it's multi-purpose, so I don't have to think about bringing extra utensils or anything. I just know that if I pack my bento box, I make sure my utensils are in there, I'm going to be good to go for the day. So this was a nice change of pace with the Laughing Cow and the crackers on the side, along with the sausage and the salad kit that I have. And then I ended up doing the fruit last as kind of my sweet item to round out the meal, because I do look for a little bit of sweetness in the end. Overall, a very balanced meal altogether. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped give you ideas about how you could possibly incorporate a bento box for a cold lunch option, if this kind of fits what you like to do anyways and how you would enjoy eating lunch. And if you like the content that I produce, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help my channel grow. And feel free to leave a comment down below if you had any questions or if you needed a clarification about any of the information that I share. I do respond to all of my comments, so I would love to hear from you. And of course, I'm always open to suggestions, so feel free to leave a suggestion if there's any type of video that you'd like me to focus more on. I'd love to hear back from you. Thank you again for watching Healthy Made Simple. I hope this channel and these videos help give you ideas about how to make healthy eating simple for you and your family. Thanks again for staying tuned, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.